Hello everyone and welcome back. I am Duke Silver. Today we are going to be playing Peter Pants. Alright, let's just get into it immediately. We start off with a sure shot into a shard, just to get an extra +1/+1 on our starting unit. And then the second shop is like pretty mediocre. The inclination is to take Creeper because it's evil with the Minotaur, but I think with the good support it just has way more upside. So we go with that, and unfortunately the next shop doesn't really yield a whole lot for us. We are going to take the Mummy plus the Earthquake here. And just reposition here. And unfortunately I did lose a little bit of footage on the while editing there. So apologies for that. I mean, you can see that we just picked up a couple of sure shots there, which do fit in front of the Good Witch anyways, which is really nice. And yeah, here I think we're just gonna pick up a couple of crafties. It's just a huge chunk of stats once we can get some things tripled here. If we can get the crafty tripled as well, then that should be able to give us some decent tempo early here anyways. The fact that we have only taken 2 level 3 characters is kind of a problem though, but we're hoping that it doesn't end up being too much of a problem, although we are losing this fight. Unfortunately, we don't get our Reckless Wager. I mean, we didn't add too much to our board last turn on 3.1, so that's kind of our own fault. We're kind of use that turn as a setup turn to hopefully get a decent infusion of stats later. And then we're gonna sell out of the Minotaur now, and we're gonna pick up a kidnap here. And we steal a Black Cat, which is not ideal. We were hoping for a 3, but I mean, we're not gonna turn our nose up at it anyways. Yeah, unfortunately we lose another combat here to Geppetto. But we do get to pick up a Mummy pair now. This Mummy has at least a couple extra stats because of the hero power. I was looking at taking this the Spellweaver though, but at the same time, like, I kind of want to hit one of these triples before we like keep taking just kind of random units. I mean, like, obviously we want Spellweaver eventually, but we do get rewarded here with the roll, and we get a couple treasures, which is going to make our crafty nice and big here. Also, we picked up a big book of spells, which is fantastic. And one of the reasons that I actually take level 2 characters, like I'm fine with taking them a little more aggressively now with Peter Pants, because big book can be a replacement for Fork. It's not nearly as good as Fork, but if you can't really afford to invest in mice if they're just not showing up, then it's definitely a decent sort of replacement. And yeah, now we can see all kinds of we get way more access to like TLKs and stuff with Big Book, so, and also cantrips, and yeah, I think like you get a lot more like variety of spells, and it's a lot easier to like keep a chain going once you get kind of the crystal ball. And obviously we need hat though, but yeah, being able to keep the chain going with seeing an extra spell every shop is just a lot easier. Because usually one of the problems that you run into with Fork is you'll get the second spot with the Fork because you get 2 spells from the 2 spells being cast from Crystal Ball, but then afterwards you kind of only have 1 spot here, whereas we have 2 spots to sort of chain off with Big Book. So there's definitely ups and downs. I mean Forking Rod is just like way more powerful in general, but yeah, Big Book is a decent replacement. You do kind of have to go a little bit faster just to try and get that volume of spells, but yeah, it's usually enough. And especially on Pants, because you can find a lot of TLKs. That's sort of an avenue to victory anyways. We knock Loki out here. We get a 4 glory, which is nice. We're still on the hunt for this hat though. We have picked up a couple more crafties though. There's just so many stats, and there's another one. And yeah, it's just a decent amount of tempo. Like, we don't necessarily want to like be leaning too hard on tempo because we need to find our treasures that make our comp go. But yeah, for now it's definitely fine. So now we pick up the Spellweaver now that we have the Crystal Ball and Big Book, and we're just missing hat. It's definitely worth investing in now, especially since we don't have a ton of pairs left now. Our only real avenues that we have at the moment, well, now we have a pair of Spellweavers anyways, after we buy it next turn, but yeah, Princess White here Princess White I actually think is a really good avenue into like your level 3 treasures, because like you can see with the amount of stats that we get early with these crafties, like picking up dwarves early in the game just allows you to stabilize, and they just get so many stats once you combine them. And they're relatively cheap, because it's essentially 1 gold if you're just buying and selling 2 cost dwarves, and you see a lot more of them than on other heroes, so you should be able to sort of turbo out the Princess White treasure. And we're going to be able to get it here. We're going to have to sell out of a 3-pair, unfortunately, because we can't really sell out of our strong characters on board. Like, we don't want to get out of our Sure Shot or our Crafties here. So the only characters left are the 3 pairs. So we're going to get rid of one of these mummies. This one that we've had since the beginning of the game. And yeah, we're just going to buy a couple dwarves. We're going to get a level 3 treasure. Unfortunately, we can't take treasure maps, so we're just going to take Fancy Pants and cast a spell, and that'll be that turn. Geppetto again, who's got a decent amount of summons here. They've got a baby bear now, and they've got an Eye of Ares. We've got a couple range characters though, so Eye of Ares isn't too bad. They don't, fortunately for us, they don't have a ton of range characters on their back line, but they do still have just enough summons to beat us there, dropping us to 9. And we do finally find our hat on the Spellweaver triple, so that's very, very nice. And yeah, now we can start to go off with spells, and we can see the power of this big book. Again, it's not quite Forking Rod, but it does the trick. Seeing a couple TLKs immediately is really, really fantastic for us. And there's another one even. We can get out of this Empress or Princess White now. We have only one more tick on Cindy here, so we do take a roll because we're pretty likely to find a spell that we can cast. So, and we do. We get to cast a Kidnap as the final spell in our turn here. Hopefully we get something good out of this Horde Dragon. And we get a Nutcracker, which is okay. Like, it's got some stats on it because it's golden. But yeah, this Horde Dragon does have Pandora's Box. They are at 3, so the fact that we're going to knock them out here is super important, because they could have become incredibly powerful after that pops. And also it's a golden level 4 character that it's just closer to a 6 when we start TLKing it, so it's an okay kidnap. There's a Spellweaver in this shop that I did cast a spell before buying, so that's definitely a mistake. That's just kind of tunnel visioned on spells there. And we're gonna pick up another Wizard's Familiar here. Without Forking Rod, the Wizard's Familiars are like a little bit less exciting, just because they don't power up nearly as fast, but still think they're worth taking here. We get an Ashwood now from a sharded Boomhilda. We're going to take another unit, and one that we're pretty happy to shard. Yeah, we shard the Soul Tack there, which is definitely a mistake. I was just running out of time. I should have sharded the baby bear there, so that is another small mistake. Hopefully it won't come back to bite us here. Yeah, fortunately we have our front line kind of stands there as blockers, and our large back line manages to take out their large ranged back line. Alright, we go for the TLK on the Sure Shot. We could have gone for the Nutcracker, but because it's a tree, I was a little bit less inclined, but honestly, like, I probably should have. Like, I mean, it is a huge attack, plus 24 health, so maybe it's just correct to get out of the Nutcracker. Like, we don't need it. We don't necessarily need it. We've got a tree. As long as we have, we don't need a Royal, because you don't get Queen's Grace until at least level 4. Alright, we do go for the shard there on the Nutcracker. We get a couple health pots there. That's always nice. And there's another shard and a TLK, which we are going to lock here. We sharded our book into or our Medusa into a vulture, which we can't really use, unfortunately. So that's a pretty big downgrade. And yeah, this Geppetto, last time we saw them, they were pretty healthy, but it looks like they lost a couple of combats in a row here, and got knocked out pretty early. Well, I guess not really early, but yeah, it looks like Potion Master has been kind of dominating this lobby. They've still got quite a bit of health. We're just gonna skip that treasure. Kind of having a hard time finding targeted spells now, even with the 2 spells per shop, which is a little bit unfortunate. So we're not getting the scaling that we want to be. Finding another TLK here is really nice, though. We're definitely going to sell for it, and we're going to TLK this baby bear into a burn beard. So that's a fantastic hit for us. I was going to lock this with the targeted spell, but we would have to buy an evil character to be able to use it. So I figure we can probably do better. And unfortunately, I think the Wizard's Familiars were bigger than the crafties here. We do manage to kind of beat up Potion Master pretty handily here. Who was like I said was pretty dominant in the lobby, but yeah, now we get these familiars into play here. Now we want to put all the stats we can into our Ashwood, just because we want. I mean, Ashwood plus the Burn Beard is kind of what's going to carry us mostly on our front line. We get to combine our Wizard's Familiar. Taking the second one, I'm not entirely sure about. We can get out of this monster book. It does provide us some amount of scaling, but that doesn't really matter at this point. I mean, the spells that we get out of it are just so poor that it just doesn't matter. We get to shard this Boomhilda a couple times, or this level 6 character a couple times, and then that turns into a Doom Breath here. And we're gonna shard that Doom Breath one more time. Basically, we want to find more trees, and we do. Look, we get another Burn Beard here, so we got a lot of stats in play with these trees. And unfortunately, I didn't get the lock for those targeted spells that I definitely really needed to get. So that's a small mistake as well. That's just mostly just a time thing. Big smite out of their monster book there. Fortunately, our Burn Beards are so large that that they're able to basically take everything that the opponent has. And just tank right through all of it, all through the mirror and everything. All right, we get another shard here. There's a Mix-a-Wizzle, and yeah, there's a TLK. We can keep moving these up the chain. All right, and here that was a dexterity error. I went to grab the Luna's Grace and not the shard. And put the stats onto the Ashwood, and yeah, this is I mean, you saw the title. Like this is like the pivotal mistake that we made here. So yeah, now we're just gonna keep sharding this character until basically I'm just looking for shards at this point to try and get my Ashwood back. Unfortunately, we get a lot of targeted spells in a row there, but not any more shards. So our board is so much weaker now without that Ashwood. And yeah, we might very well be in real trouble here. There, and they have a giant Scion of the Storm plus a Pandora's box here, and we do manage to take out the Scion, which is just enough for us to survive that fight. Fortunately, we got all those health pots during this game. Otherwise, we would absolutely be finished there. And yeah, at this point, it's just we just really need to keep casting shards, and finally we find another one. And we get the Ashwood back, and so yeah, we kind of rectify our mistake there, but still, that was a huge mistake, and we almost paid the ultimate price for it there. And now we're able to TLK up to a level 5 with this Aeon. Aeon's nice for a few turns, but we're definitely going to TLK it as soon as we find one. It is providing a fair amount of stats though, and scaling for our other mages. And yeah, we go for the TLK there. We cast one more health pot, and yeah, now that we have the Ashwood back, we should hopefully be good here. The opponent fortunately got Fairy Queen's Wand out of their Pandora's box. If it had been Black Prism, then we might have just straight up lost there. So we're fortunate to fade that anyways. And yeah, there we go. Big Book of Spells. Like I said, it's good enough. It's not Forking Rod, but it's a good enough replacement anyways. And yeah, I think that makes level 2 characters a little more valuable on Pants. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Just a quick reminder that tomorrow will be when the Super Brawl is happening. 11 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 9 a.m. Or sorry, 8 a.m. Pacific. Yeah, 8 a.m. Pacific. And yeah, it'll be on the Storybook Brawl. It'll be on someone's channel on the Storybook Brawl category. So, yeah, it would be great to see out there. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.